Why not fight for your life?
I just don't care to.
Sometimes we refer to this as the golden age of criminalistics. And the reason we do that is we used all sorts of other...
Are you sorry?
For the victim?
Yes.
Yes.
And out of nowhere, they found a skull up in the mountains near Loma Prieta.
Well, it's the ultimate question. It is the question.
For what I did, yes, I think I deserve to die.
Early life. Carroll Edward Eddie Cole, born on May 9, 1938 in Sioux City, Iowa, had a tumultuous childhood marked by instability and trauma. His parents, Laverne and Vesta Cole, moved the family to California when he was still a child. Laverne, seeking work in a shipyard, left for World War II, leaving Vesta alone with Cole and his younger sister. During this period, Vesta engaged in multiple affairs, taking Cole along to her rendezvous and resorting to threats of violence to maintain his silence. Vesta's behavior took a darker turn as she emotionally misused Cole, even dressing him as a girl. At school, he became the target of teasing due to his girly name, exacerbating the challenges he faced in forming healthy relationships.
Just feel tired and everything like that. Exhausting.
Time going by quicker, slower?
Fast.
Person that saw them getting into a car. And that's about as far as we got at that time.
The combination of family instability, emotional misuse, and societal ridicule likely contributed to the development of psychological issues in Cole. As he grew older, Cole's troubled upbringing manifested in criminal behavior. He went on to become a notorious serial slayer, convicted of slaying 2 women in Nevada through strangulation. Additionally, he faced charges for the slayings of 3 other women in Texas and was suspected of being responsible for the demises of up to 30 individuals between 1947 and 1980. Cole's life is a tragic tale of how early trauma and a dysfunctional upbringing can have devastating consequences. His descent into criminality and violence highlights the importance of recognizing and addressing mental health issues, as well as the critical role of a supportive and stable environment in a child's formative years. Cole's ending in 1985 marked the end of a life marked by tragedy, crime, and the devastating impact of a troubled past. First slaying. Carroll Edward Eddie Cole's descent into violent criminality began at an early age. At just 8 years old, he committed his first slaying, drowning a classmate named Dwayne in a lake in Richmond, California. Authorities initially deemed it an accident, unaware of Cole's involvement until he confessed years later in a prison autobiography. Reflecting on the incident during an interview, Cole revealed that the act was a result of a deep-seated desire for revenge against his abusive mother, stating, "I was primed. I had made the mental commitment I was going to get even with my mother, and things just built up and became an obsession."
About his punishment and about the suffering of his victims that led him down this trail to his death.
Surprising, because that's really a fantasy of total control over others.
During his teenage years, Cole engaged in various petty crimes, including drunkenness and minor thefts, leading to frequent arrests. His criminal behavior continued when he joined the U.S. Army, resulting in a bad conduct discharge in 1958 for stealing pistols. In 1960, he escalated to attacking couples parked in cars on Lover's Lane, displaying violent tendencies. In a disturbing turn, Cole contacted the police in Richmond, California, revealing that he was tormented by violent fantasies involving strangling women. This early expression of his dark inclinations foreshadowed the heinous crimes he would later commit. Cole's troubled adolescence and early adulthood laid the foundation for a pattern of violence that culminated in multiple slayings. The combination of childhood trauma, criminal behavior, and the emergence of disturbing fantasies hinted at the profound psychological issues that would shape his life and lead to a reign of terror that spanned several decades. Later life. Following his release from mental hospitals, Carroll Cole's disturbing tendencies persisted and escalated. Despite being diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, he was released from Stockton State Hospital in April 1963. Dr. Weiss, the overseeing physician, documented Cole's fear of the female figure and the requirement to slay before engaging in intercourse. This release decision, despite the diagnosed condition, would prove to have severe consequences. Upon relocating to Dallas, Texas, Cole married a stripper named Billy Whitworth. However, his violent tendencies persisted, leading to the marriage's dissolution after he set fire to a motel, convinced that Whitworth was being unfaithful. Cole's criminal record continued to grow as he served time for arson. After his release, Cole's violence escalated further. He attempted to strangle an 11-year-old girl in Missouri, resulting in a 5-year prison sentence. Following his release, he moved to Nevada, where he once again attempted to strangle 2 women. Despite exhibiting slaying's fantasies, he managed to avoid detention and was merely given a ticket back to San Diego. The repeated instances of violence, failed interventions by mental health professionals, and the leniency of the legal system highlighted the systemic failures.
It affected me, just also because I not suffered, but I thought about it.
Frida, and Elfrida found Ed to be kind of creepy.
In addressing Cole's deeply rooted psychological issues. His ability to navigate the system and escape confinement allowed him to continue his destructive path, foreshadowing the tragic events that would unfold in his future. Serial slayings. Carol Cole's descent into serial slaying unfolded over several years, marked by a disturbing pattern of violence and a warped sense of morality. In 1971, he claimed his first known victim, Essie Louise Buck, whom he strangled in his car after picking her up from a San Diego tavern. Cole, demonstrating a gruesome disregard for human life, drove around with her lifeless body in the trunk before disposing of it. 2 weeks later, he slayed another unidentified woman and buried her in a wooded area, justifying his actions by deeming them unfaithful. In 1973, Cole married Diana Faye Younglove Paschal, an alcoholic with whom he had a tumultuous relationship. During their turbulent marriage, Cole continued his slaying spree, even allegedly engaging in cannibalism. In September 1979, he strangled Paschal to demise. Despite a suspicious neighbor's call to the police and the discovery of Paschal's body wrapped in a blanket, the authorities attributed her demise to heavy drinking, releasing Cole without charges. Cole's nomadic lifestyle and violent tendencies persisted. In 1979, he encountered Marie Cushman in Las Vegas, engaging in a physical encounter before slaying her. Returning to Dallas in 1980, Cole strangled 3 more women. While initially suspected in one of the slayings and present at the scene of the 3rd slaying, he was about to be ruled out when he confessed to all the slayings.
Without any suspect whatsoever. The guy was covered his tracks really well.
Easiest, most comfortable way.
Does that enter your mind, though, that you might?
It has entered my mind, yeah.
Arrested and held in custody, Cole shocked investigators with the admission of at least 14 slayings over the past 9 years, citing his frequent intoxication during the crimes as a reason for his uncertain count. The details of his confessions revealed a deeply disturbed individual who felt compelled to mete out his perverted sense of justice, viewing his victims through a skewed moral lens. The investigation into Cole's heinous acts shed light on the complexities of identifying and stopping a serial slayer, particularly when intertwined with mental health issues and a history of institutional failures. Conviction and demise. Carol Cole's legal journey culminated in a conviction and demise sentence, reflecting the gravity of his heinous acts. In April 1981, he was found guilty of 3 slayings committed in Texas and received a life sentence at Huntsville Prison. However, his mother's demise in 1984 seemed to trigger a change in his attitude, leaving him to accept further slaying charges filed in Nevada, knowing it could result in the demise penalty. Extradited to Nevada in February 1984, Cole faced trial for the strangulation demises of 2 women in 1977 and 1979. Despite anti-demise penalty campaigns, including efforts from the ACLU, the United Methodist Church of Reno, and fellow demise row inmates to commute his sentence, Cole chose to proceed with his ending. He reportedly converted to Catholicism sometime before his demise sentence. On the day of his ending, various groups attempted to intervene, but Cole, in a surprising move, resisted their efforts. For his last meal, he ordered jumbo fried shrimp, French fries, salad with French dressing, and Boston clam chowder. The night before, he had requested Kentucky Fried Chicken, but due to prison regulations, he received chicken nuggets instead. Executed by lethal injection at Nevada State Prison on December 6, 1985 at 2:10 a.m., Cole's brain was removed posthumously for study at the University of Nevada, Reno Medical School, aiming to explore potential abnormalities.
Well, it's the ultimate question. It is the question.
For what I did, yes, I think I deserve that.
And out of nowhere, they found a skull up in the mountains near Loma Prieta.
The ending of Carol Cole marked the end of a dark chapter, offering a semblance of justice to the victims and closure to the communities affected by his gruesome crimes. The complex dynamics surrounding his legal proceedings, including the acceptance of additional charges and his unexpected resistance to commutation efforts, added layers of intrigue to the conclusion of his disturbing criminal saga. Last words. In his final interview with KLAS-TV, Carol Cole, the convicted slayer, acknowledged his awareness of the gravity of his impending execution. Despite admitting to slaying 13 individuals and choosing not to appeal his demise sentence, Cole expressed honesty about his concerns and the natural apprehension associated with facing capital punishment. He admitted that, like anyone else, he desired the easiest and most comfortable passage, recognizing the possibility of unforeseen complications during the execution process. Contemplating the potential for suffering, Cole displayed a pragmatic acknowledgement of the uncertainties surrounding the lethal injection. His statements reflected a sober acceptance of his fate, emphasizing that despite any lingering doubts or fears, he remained resolute in his decision not to contest the sentence.
Why not fight for your life?
I just don't care to.
Sometimes we refer to this as the golden age of criminalistics. And the reason we do that is we used all sorts of other...
Are you sorry?
For the victim?
Yes.
Yes.
3 days after this interview, Carol Cole was executed by lethal injection, marking the 50th execution in the United States since the reinstatement of the demise penalty in 1976. His final words and demeanor during the interview offered a glimpse into the complex emotions and reflections of an individual facing the ultimate consequence for his actions. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.